First you put your arms around me, then you put your charms around me. We stare into each other's eyes, and what we see is no surprise. Got a feeling lost for treasure, love so deep we cannot measure. Ain't nobody loves me better, makes me happy, makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better than you. Ain't nobody loves me better, makes me happy, makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better than you.
Do you recall not long ago when you would walk on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other. But the night was warm, we were bold and young. All around, the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Blood kiss, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. What will we do when we get old? Will we walk down the same road? Will you be there by my side, standing strong as the waves roll over? The nights are long, longing for you to come home. All around, the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Blood kiss, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Blood kiss, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on.
This episode of Health Vibes is brought to you by the brand you trust the most, Jolly's Pharmacy Limited, leading the way in health care.
I woke up this morning feeling real stink. I had the intentions to call in sick, but I end up in Jolly's Pharmacy. Great and down King Street, Jolly's fix up my immune system. Got me feeling fit and strong. Now I'm ready to work and take on any mission. If you see me working, Jolly's Pharmacy is number one. Jolly's working. We cater for everyone. Jolly's working. Boost up your immune system. Jolly's working. Say boy Father Fox. Whenever I'm in town and I'm feeling down, I head to Jolly's Pharmacy. They boost me up real quick. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Raise a cheer for the company that believes in you, securing your future. First Domestic Insurance Company, a 100% Dominican-owned company, as local as the street where you live. 100% secure, with A-listed reinsurers, the best in the world, settling claims first, fast, fair. Property insurance, personal content, fire and allied perils, loss of profit, public liability, employer's liability, group and individual personal accident, travel, burglary, cash in transit, machinery all risk, fidelity guarantee, motor vehicles and marine cargo. Located on King George Pep Street in Rosal. Call 449-8202. In Portsmouth, 445-3494. The agency's resource management, 440-2159. Carib Interconnect, 445-8232. First Domestic Insurance Company. Come get a premium quote today.
Jolly's Pharmacy presents a new and innovative radio program, Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Every Wednesday morning on Q95 FM. Health Vibes, hosted by Carlton Lando and Pearl Fontaine Butler. Health Vibes from 10:15 to 11 a.m. It's not just your average talk show. It's appealing and educational with a bit of humor. Real vibes on your health. Now that's the vibe. Health Vibes on Q95. Every Wednesday from 10:15 to 11 a.m. with Pearl and Carlton. Tune in.
Welcome to Health Vibes, Dominica's most foremost program on health, medicine, nutrition, and wellness, featuring the latest news on conventional and alternative medicine and health care. Now, here's your host, Carlton Lando, and co-host, Pearl Fontaine Butler.
Good morning to you, Dominica. We are so happy to be connecting with you on another episode of Health Vibes, the brand that you trust most, Jolly's Pharmacy. This morning, we are just, happy to be alive, happy to have health, happy to have strength, the breath of life, just amazing knowing that we are living in a country where peace reigns. When you look at the news around us, I look at what's happening in Syria, you look at what's happening in Iran, and all these suicide bombers. People are afraid to even, they're not too sure if they'll ever, reach to their destination because somebody might just be around looking with a bomb, and you recognize, wow, there's really no place like Dominica, no place like most parts of the Caribbean where peace abides. So we're really, really happy to be with you this morning. Pearl, you look wonderful in your long, should I say Indian hair?
Yeah. Well, you could say Brazilian.
Wow.
Well, good morning, Carlton, and good morning to all Dominicans here and abroad listening and tuning in to Health Vibes, your number one talk show on health, wellness, nutrition. It's wonderful that you said, that there's no place like home, right? Mm-hmm. And this morning, even, when I woke up, I just thanked God for his mercies and, just everything. But we can always find happiness in the small things.
Sure.
So, I don't listen to rap music, but my son, who's 5, he loves rap music, right? And I think to myself, how does he know these songs?
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out a way how I can, lure him away from that, but not take it away from him completely. So I
Yes.
said, you know what, I got something for you. So usually in the mornings, he'll say to me, oh, you're always listening to gospel music,
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I'm going to find some
Gospel.
Christian rap.
Yeah.
And listen to me, I felt like I had conquered the world this morning because he was in the best mood. He was so happy, so excited that I was allowing him to listen to rap, right?
Yes.
But not realizing that it was Christian rap.
Yes.
And Carlson, just to see the smile on his face, and for me, that the happiness was in that small moment that
Yes.
I could make him happy with something that he wanted, but also as a parent, get some gratification and
Yes.
satisfaction out of it myself. So that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I do want to say a big hello to Mr. Delsol's mom, who last week when I talked about the mangoes, she had her son deliver some mangoes to me at work. So thank you, Mrs. Del Sol, for
Well, I
thinking
too,
of me.
Pearl. Some amazing fan of Health Vibes brought me a bag of grafted mangoes. I just saw them at my desk.
Wow.
And that to the person, I want to say big thank you. I also want to say good morning to my aunt Primrose Alexander and Vernel, my cousin in Canada. They listen all the time. We really miss you guys. So hoping to see you guys very, very soon. And I mean, Pearl, there's so many fans we have.
No, listen, even
Many,
in
many
London,
fans.
my Auntie Christine and her husband Tumun, they always tuning in, so I have to big them up. They always tune in. And I mean, it's amazing that we're here in Dominica and everyone
Everybody.
in the world gets to listen to us.
Excellent. I think we have an early caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning.
And you're most welcome, Carlson.
Thank you, my dear. You sell out our business.
And let me say, he didn't share with me, he didn't share any with me.
You see, Pearl.
I'll have the video on for you.
No, the thing is that Pearl. I don't say I can sell like a Creole. Pearl passav sa money pui.
Oh, okay.
Well,
You're most welcome, my dear.
thank you, my friend.
Okay. So do have a blessed day.
Excellent. I'm sure you will call back. We have a very good show this morning, so I'm sure you will call back to contribute to that. Thank you for
Okay, no
calling.
problem.
Yes.
So do have a blessed day. Love you
too.
all.
Love you too, dear. So, Pearl, what's happening in the news today?
Okay, so topping the news in health this week, France bans extremely thin models. The BBC News reported that a law in France banning the use of unhealthily thin fashion models has come into effect. Models will need to provide a doctor's certificate attesting to their overall physical health with special regard to their body mass index, a measure of weight in relation to height. The health ministry says the aim is to fight eating disorders and inaccessible ideals of beauty. Digitally altered photos will also have to be labeled from October 1. Images where a model's appearance has been manipulated will need to be marked photography retouch or retouched photography. A previous version of the bill had suggested a minimum BMI for models, prompting protests from the modeling agencies in France. But the final version allows doctors to decide whether a model is too thin by taking into account their weight, age, and body shape. Employers breaking the law could face fines of up to 75,000 euros and up to 6 months in jail. France's Minister of Social Affairs and Health, Marisol Touraine, in a statement on Friday, reported saying exposing young people to normative and unrealistic images of bodies leads to a sense of self-depreciation and poor self-esteem that can impact health-related behavior. France is not the first country to legislate an underweight models. Italy, Spain, and Israel have all done so. Anorexia affects between 30,000 to 40,000 people in France, 90% of whom are women. Carlton, what an interesting news topic today.
Very interesting.
I think, having lived in the United States and in London, we're all familiar with, models and being extremely thin and anorexia and bulimia. So I think that it's great that on a governmental level that they take responsibility to kind of assist in curbing those diseases.
Right, because at the end of the day, I'm sure, you've seen it and I've seen it and many of us have looked at it on newspapers, on television, that these people are really walking ghosts. You look at them and you could just see that they're unhealthy. I mean, you eat, and as soon as you eat, you go to the bathroom, push your hand in your throat or toothbrush in your throat to vomit everything, just because you have to look a particular weight because of your job or your career. And that is sad. And many of these people, you recognize the psychological trauma
Right.
and stress that they endure I mean, I'm kudos, man. Kudos to the governments of France for recognizing that this is not the way to go. And the fact is, these models are whom many of the young girls, they want to be like. They want to be like, and they think this is a perfect image of a woman to look like this. And so I think, the governments have recognized really and truly, no, this is causing many of our women to be ill psychologically and to be ill physiologically. And so I think this is a great, great, great intervention.
I think so too. All right. So coming up next, we have a discussion on nutrition and diabetes. Join us this morning. We'll be speaking with public health nutritionist, Mrs. Marinese Teat. So you can call us on 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, or on the overseas line, which is 305-432-9624. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will begin our discussions.
At Jolly's Pharmacy, your health and wellness is our passion. No wonder Jolly's Pharmacy provides the widest variety of the highest quality vitamin supplements and remedies for your lifestyle activity and nutritional needs. Take care of your body. Get the multivitamins advantage supply to enhance, promote, improve, repair, and revitalize your body. Jolly's for the complete line of preventative and curative health supplies and tonics. Rejuvenate with men's and women's one-a-day tablets. Boost concentration. Tricentrum Silver and Omega-3s to build your immune and nervous system functions, strengthen your cardiovascular system, boost bone health. For stamina, get all your natural balanced Megavites herbal supplements, men's daily formula for sexual energy and function, Soul Palmetto plus supplements to soothe joint pain, feel like a dynamo, get up and go, catch back your mojo at Jolly's, Dominica's principal healthcare pharmacy. Why? Because you deserve more from a drugstore.
Raise a cheer for the company that believes in you, securing your future. First Domestic Insurance Company, a 100% Dominican-owned company, as local as the street where you live. 100% secure with A-listed reinsurers, the best in the world, settling claims first, fast, fair. Property insurance, personal content, fire and allied perils, loss of profit, public liability, employer's liability, group and individual personal accident, travel, burglary, cash in transit, machinery all risks, fidelity guarantee, motor vehicles and marine cargo. Located on King George V Street in Rosal. Call 449-8202. In Portsmouth, 445-3494. The agency's resource management, 440-2159. Carib Interconnect, 445-8232. First Domestic Insurance Company. Come get a premium quote today.
You're listening to Health Vibes. Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Health Vibes this morning. Today, we are speaking with nutritionist Mrs. Marinese Teat to discuss a very serious topic, nutrition and diabetes. Now, diabetes and your diet, what a great subject. It's a fact that dietary approaches are just as important as medical approaches to the treatment of diabetes. Therefore, comprehensive lifestyle approaches that includes modest weight loss, regular moderate physical activities, and of course, a healthy dietary pattern is very critical in the treatment of diabetes and the prevention of the complications of diabetes. Specifically, what does this healthy eating pattern entail? To answer that, we will be speaking with Mrs. Marinese Teat for her expertise. She is no stranger here, and she's also part of the Jolly's National Clinic. Good morning, Mrs. Teat. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, diabetes and nutrition. What a combination.
Right.
We know that diabetes is a worldwide, global, problem. And here in Dominica, we have not been spared. So therefore, first I want to say to people who have the disease, diabetes, that it is not a death sentence.
True.
A lot of people put their hands up in the air and say, oh God, I can't do anything, I have diabetes. But there is hope. And to begin, lifestyle change. The person with diabetes now have to look at how they eat, how often they eat, and more particularly the quality of the food that they eat. So therefore, in making a change from the day that you've been diagnosed as diabetic, is to start with your food, your shopping. When you go to the supermarket, when you go to the local market, what do you do? What do you shop? What do you buy? So therefore, a good guide is to start with what we call our 6 food groups. Our foods in the Caribbean have been placed into 6 main groups, and that makes it so much easier for us to select the best foods for our diet. And therefore, you start with your starches, which is your ground provisions, your rice, your pasta, your bread, and so on. Then you have your vegetables, and in choosing your vegetables, exactly, we want you to look at colors. So you look at your purple, like your eggplant. You look for your reds, your tomatoes, and so on. You look for your greens, your spinach, your lettuce, cucumber. You know, even the white ones like the turnip and your onions. So you look for colors. Then you look at your fruits again. You look at colors. You want your yellow, like your pawpaw, and so on. So a variety of fruits. Then you have your other group, which is the peas and beans. And here we're talking about dried peas and beans. Your lentils, your red beans, your black eyed peas, your choice. Then we have another group, which is the food from animals. And this group, we have to be very careful because we tend to eat a lot of meat. Everybody wants to have so much meat or fish. So this is your meat and fish group. And be careful about that. Contains a lot of cholesterol from animal sources. And so that is your food from animals group. And then we have the fats. The fats group, which is our oils, our margarines, and so on. So therefore, knowing that, how am I going to select what it is I'm going to select? Okay? So the person who is diabetic now has to be very careful with not just sugary foods or foods that contain syrups and so on, but the starches, our ground provision. People say, I cook a dashing, I have to eat half of the dashing. They are diabetic. So quantities are going to be very, very important for the diabetic. So with the starches, we need to understand that when we eat starchy foods, it doesn't remain in our body as starch. Okay? It is converted to glucose. The end product is glucose. However, the excess is stored as fat. And fat has a very critical role to play in diabetes, because the more body fat you have, is the more it prevents that insulin that is necessary to move that glucose all over your body through all your cells to provide the energy that you need. You know what happens to this. And therefore the insulin works like the gasoline in a vehicle. And therefore, if you put the gasoline in the car but crank, it doesn't move. It doesn't make sense. So the insulin in your body is very, very important. And therefore, when you have all the starches, it really causes the fat, it really prevents the insulin from performing its work effectively. So the people with diabetes now also have to look at the foods that they buy that are packaged. We just have to learn to read our labels. And I think, Mr. Lando, that we're really going to have to do something about that. But particularly, I think most people look on their labels and they say, let me see if it has sugar. Let me see how much sugar it has. But this is not where we stop. We should see what is the total amount of carbohydrates. And this is also on the label. So when you see this is very high, you know that if I consume this food, then I'm getting all these carbohydrates, which eventually going to turn to glucose, which eventually going to turn to fat. So this is important. But high fiber foods, which we can get like from the ground provisions. So ground provisions are the best in the world. I say that every time. And it's very high in potassium, but very high in fiber. And what the fiber does for people with diabetes especially, it creates bulk. It enables you not to get hungry too quickly and not to eat very often. you know. So the ground provisions are very important. But I
Now,
want
now
to
specifically, what ground provisions are you talking about? Because my
Okay.
grandmother, who has diabetes for a number of years now, when we're cooking, she would say, "Oh, give me the fig or give me give me yam, but don't give me too much dash in." And I'm thinking,
Is there
it's
a difference?
Is there a difference?
they're all the same. Our ground provisions, they're all the same. They are high carbohydrates food. They are very good carbohydrates. They're not like the sugars. Okay, so but the thing for the diabetic is how much to eat.
Yes.
And generally we say about 2 slices, but they tell you I just can't have 2 slices of dashing.
Yes.
So this is where the problem comes, that they would just eat any amount, and then with all the starch, when this is converted to glucose, then it affects the blood sugar.
Let me ask you a question, though, Mrs. Sid. So for example, you've said that per serving should be like 2 slices of dashing. What if the person says, okay, I can't have the full dose of the dashing, or full dashing one time, but I will split it up in parts throughout the day. So you have 2 slices in the morning, you may have another 3 slices in the afternoon, and in the evening you may have another 3 slices. When it comes up to the 1 dashing, does that make sense? Is that wise to do, or you should just really have 2 slices for the entire day?
Okay, what we encourage the diabetics, because before they were having maybe a big breakfast, a big lunch, a big dinner. So what we encourage the diabetics to do is to have smaller meals.
Yes.
Even your breakfast, what you normally have for your breakfast, can now be split in 2. And then, because you would have chosen healthy foods, let's say you'd have some sardines, you'd have some cucumber, you'd have a piece of bread, and you'd maybe have a cup of tea. That sounds like okay. So instead of having that big portion at 8 o'clock in the morning, you could split that in 2 and have the rest by about 10 o'clock. So this would prevent you from having an unhealthy snack.
Right.
Because this is where the other problem is. Okay? But the person who says, I need 2 slices of dashing, this is just per meal.
Yes.
Okay? And we also have to consider the level of activity of that individual.
Right.
And it is sad that a lot of people don't know what their total amount of calories they're supposed to consume in a day. So that being as it is, we say to people, look carefully at the portion sizes that you are having. So 2 slices of dashing with about a half a cup of rice, about a quarter cup of beans, maybe 1 drumstick, and let's say you have cabbage and carrot, and you have your salad. That is good for your lunch, but people tend to want to have all 3 types of the ground provisions that they cook, plus some rice or pasta. This is the quantity. It's too much. It's just too much for people to have at any one time. And even our vegetables, our diabetics also have to be careful about the type of vegetables. The leafy ones are fine. Your lettuce, your watercress, your spinach, these are okay. When it comes to pumpkin, when it comes to string beans, when it comes to beets, you can already feel in your mouth these are more solid, and so they contain more starch. So they are more on the starchy side. So therefore, yes, the nutritionist said to eat vegetables. Somebody gave me a piece of pumpkin, so I cooked the whole piece of pumpkin and I eat a big half of it, a big chunk of it. No, because the pumpkin contains a lot of starch.
I never do that.
Yes, so your pumpkin, yes, no, your pumpkin, your beets, and the string beans. Not sure you say string beans?
Yeah.
Yes. No, the string beans is a bean. So there's the bean inside of the casing of the string beans, and the bean is starch. So therefore, the quantity that you eat in combination with the rest of the food on your plate, that is what the total you have to think about. And yes.
And okay, so you talked about some people not knowing the amount of calories that they're supposed to consume in a day. But okay, so what happens if people who, eat carefree and just eat all day long, and go over the amounts of calories that we're supposed to have, what could potentially happen to
Exactly.
them?
And if that person, number one, is not physically active, you're going to have overweight and obesity
cholesterol.
coming in. Okay. And plus the type of food, let's say they eat a lot of meat and stuff, your cholesterol level is going to go up. That can affect, your heart and give you heart disease and so on. So, what we say to people, well, some people say, what is moderation? But everything in moderation. So when you have your plate in front of you, as a diabetic, you have your plate in front of you, and you want the half of your plate to be your vegetables.
Half of the plate.
The half of the plate should be your vegetables. Colorful as much as is possible.
Now, is this vegetables plus salads?
Your veggies, your salad, whether you do it steam, because you can have both, you can have some steam and you can have some fresh, but the half of your plate, and if you do that, you are ensuring that you have high fiber, and that high fiber is going to allow the blood glucose to go slowly through your body, not to just spike and then raise your blood sugar so high. So if you think about it that way, you're already on the good road. And then now you have the other half. You cut that in two, and one part would be for your meat and your beans, and the other part would be for your starches. So by the time you put the vegetables on the plate, there's not much space to put a lot of other things. But some people still find a way to heap up the plate.
That's right.
But that is one way to start. Put your vegetables on your plate first. And if you buy what is in season, it's much cheaper. Okay? People with diabetes are also concerned about sweet foods like sweet potato, plantain. Should they have it? Of course. But how much? You're not going to take 2 plantains, roast it and eat it. Plus you have, you have rice, and you have other things on your plate that are going to add up to the total amount of calories, especially the starchy part, and to affect your blood sugar. So they can have a slice of sweet potato or plantain.
Okay, we have a caller. Good morning,
Good
caller.
morning, caller.
Hey, hello, good morning.
My friend,
Good
how are you?
morning.
Hey, I'm good, man. Good morning,
Excellent.
Carlton. Good morning, Pearl, and good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, I like what intrigued me a while ago is what you just said about your plate should be half of vegetables.
Yes.
And in for some strange reason, whenever you go, I can see that when people go out to eat, that's what you get the least of, the vegetables.
I know.
You get 1 spoon of that sometimes, and you have a heap of rice, a heap of provision, and plenty and meat. So there's already an off balance or an imbalance in the whole serving system. So I think the onus is on the people now maybe to ask for more vegetables and less of everything else.
Yes, I said that to a client not too long ago.
No,
you
it's
can
for real.
make the choice.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Because what? The thing that harm you the most, you have more of it.
Yes.
And the one that will balance you off better, you have less of it.
Yes.
So something has to be done there. So I think the onus is on the person buying the food. Because yes, at your home you can make a big bowl of vegetables and sit down and eat. But when you go out for some strange reason, I don't know what's the reason for that, you get one little spoonful of veggies and it's scattered all over the place, and it doesn't do you any good. Because when you have the rice, the dasheen, the fig, and you have sometimes most of the times you go to some places and you have lunch, or people having lunch, and you see no veggies at all.
It's true.
Yeah, but then when you do get the veggies, it's one serving. So something has to not something. The people have to demand what they want.
Sure.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Very good comment.
Very
Just
good.
yesterday I was talking to a client, and he said he eats at a particular place every day. I said, okay, that's fine. Then I asked, give me an example of what you eat, and then I said, but you know what you can do? You can say, I do not want the rice today. Can I get a portion of vegetables?
That's right.
And he said, I never thought of that. That's what he said. So it's important that people know those things. You have the power in your hand. You may have to pay a little extra, maybe, but if you say, I prefer more veggies than the rice and the starches and so on, maybe a bigger portion of beans, because the beans are also very good for all of us, especially our diabetics. And you find people eat beans maybe just once a week, which is a Sunday. But if people would cook their beans and package it, then they are sure they have beans on their refrigerator that they can use 2 or 3 times in the week.
Wow, we have another caller. Good
Good
morning.
morning, caller.
Good morning. Very interesting program.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Mystic in Guadeloupe, you cannot serve the vegetable together with food. you have to give them the vegetables first. They eat the vegetables first, and then they, if they are space to take food, then they take food. That's the way they do it in God.
Oh.
If you put it out like that, they laughing you. It's like how we doing it in Dominica. We have our vegetable together for our provision and our rice and our beans. They don't take it so. First thing you serve is the salad. And after, first they go along with what are there.
Yes.
Right.
So if we Dominican practice that, we need a lot of vegetables.
Yes.
It's all about the culture, you know, and more and more people are demanding more food. Thank you. And more and more people are demanding more food on their plate. So I'm saying yes, let's say less of the starches and more of the veggies, a bigger portion of beans. I can have just one drumstick. Because when you think about it, that one meal you have at breakfast time, that's just the first meal. And you think of all the rest of the food you have to eat for the day, including the snacks. You know, and we encourage diabetics to have the smaller meals, and they can also include light snacks, healthy snacks. They can have nuts. They could have fruits. They could have a small bowl of salad. And people say, oh, salad takes so much time. I say to people, you make a bowl of salad, ensure that you do not put cucumbers in it and tomatoes, and you cover it properly, and it can be stored in your fridge, in your refrigerator for 3 days. So you know you have salad there for 3 days. But you just have to ensure that in preparation everything is well dried and stuff so that it doesn't spoil. So you already have the beans, you already have the salads, the vegetables there. So all you need to add is whichever of the ground provision or the other starches you need, and what protein, meat or fish you're going to have
So
for the
let
day.
me ask you. So give me like a walkthrough, like what would be a typical healthy breakfast for an adult person who is diabetic, particularly type 2 diabetes?
Is the person active?
The person is active, a working person, always going to work, you know, will do some, you know. But a lot of times people want to know, like, what would be a typical breakfast I could start with?
And you know they know, but we'll tell them again. It's just that I think, as I said already, the quantities is a problem. But a typical breakfast, okay, if people have coffee, they can have some coffee. No coffee, you have a cup of tea. All right, and then when you think
Do
of
you put sugar in the tea? Because people always say, some people when they get a diagnosis of diabetes, they
cut all sugar off.
All sugar is
not
not
necessarily. We know our problem with compliance, and therefore sometimes it's better to say no sugar. But if the person is mature and responsible enough, a teaspoon of sugar, and that should be for the day, not more.
A teaspoon of sugar for the day?
That would be for the day.
The body needs
yes, about that. For the diabetic, you do not, because remember the other starches are going to contribute to the glucose in your blood.
What about those who use the alternative sweeteners? Splenda,
well, these have so many side effects, and that we don't really encourage, the diabetics to have it. It's better if they try to just do away with the sugar, or just use a teaspoon.
And what about honey? Is honey?
Yes, they can use honey as well, about a teaspoon.
Or molasses.
About a teaspoon, because they have to bear in mind that they're going to eat other foods during the day, including fruits. And people think, oh, it's mango season, I can eat as many mangoes as I want. But the sugar is sugar. It's going to spike your blood sugar. So that's why we say to the diabetics especially, one mango, mango long, not a big grafted or what we call Julie mango. That's even too much. But if you're active, and moving about, that is fine. So medium, we go with medium mango. Small, yes, for the day.
Well, I can tell you, many diabetics.
I know they won't. They don't.
6 mangoes a day,
I know, but then the thing is, okay, they want to eat all of these mangoes, and they still want to have their full breakfast, their full lunch, their dinner. So that is where we want them to be able to manage the amount of food that they eat. So even if you want to eat 2 mangoes for the day, let us say, you're going to have to cut back on some bread. You're going to have to cut back on, if you're going to take 3 slices of dash in that day, you're going to have to take 2 So that is where the juggling comes in.
We have a caller.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning again.
Yes,
a question to the nutritionist. In terms of, give me your opinion about, as a nutritionist, about white sugar versus brown sugar.
White sugar, empty calories, the brown sugar is a little better, but the white sugar is not necessary. You don't really have to. It's washed, all the important nutrients have been taken out of it, except just that sugar, empty calories that you have. So if people can use honey, if they can use molasses, if they can use other sweeteners, alternatives,
Cane
it will be
juice.
better. Cane juice, yeah. So people have to become right. People have to become kind of creative. And for the diabetic, for anybody else, but for the diabetic, you have to listen to your body. You also have to.
We have another caller.
Sure.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, nutritionist.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
We're doing good.
All right. Let me say to you, I have a serious problem with bread. I love bread. Anytime I think of bread, I want to eat it. So tell me, what does that do to your sugar?
Spikes the sugar.
It does. It does cause your blood sugar to go way too high.
It's a simple carbohydrate.
Okay, because yes, this white flour is really what we call a simple carbs, and it will spike your blood sugar after you've eaten the bread or the dumpling and stuff like that. It's better. What you can do, you can start having. I don't know if you'll do that, but some plantain. You could have a roast plantain, not the full ripe one, but those that are just turning, right? You could have one that is roasted, or you could boil it, and you could have that instead of bread.
Okay. We have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, blessing.
Yes, my friend. Good morning.
Good morning.
Carl, what's up?
I am doing good, and you?
And I dare you will say Carlton and Pearl.
Good morning, Blessing.
You can put a little flavor on Carlton too. Let me shout out the nutritionist. Blessed day to you, my dear. And teacher Pim, your auntie, my brother.
Yes, my aunt.
Blessings, Carlton. Everybody anticipating the barbed wire. You heard about it, no?
No, what's that?
So you developing it in the lab and you don't know about it. Matt and I was talking about it last week.
No, I don't know.
They say you're creating an alternative to Viagra. Its name is barbed wire.
Who is? That Carlton.
It can be a grain of salt, all right?
I know. I know you. I know you well.
Let me talk to the nutritionist.
Yes,
Mom, based on your whole biological makeup, there are people who will eat 3-4 mangoes and their sugar remain normal. Because what works for you does not work for me. Somebody might need to take a few units of insulin, or they want to take one metformin, and for the whole day they could eat everything and the sugar is properly regularized. You following my argument, my dear?
Yes.
So I wanted to know if all of that is applicable to every diabetic. And the next thing is something else I wanted to ask. Look at how it slipped me. Quickly, whoa, come on. Having to do with the 3 meals a day, that is it. And desserts in between and all of that.
Snacks.
I think that is very, very dangerous. That's a Western form of eating. Because that 3 meals a day, I think we get messed up in that. And that is where I think, and all the desserts, a little ice cream. Even for the non-diabetics, ma'am, you have a little chocolate bar and you eat a little ice cream later, and you drink a little juice and you eat your 3 meals, and when you're done check later down the road, you come up with diabetes. I was a fool. I'm diabetic. So I'm talking about, my experience once upon a time. I just think it's just gobbling up everything that was available. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good comment. About the 3 meals, yes, that is standard, and that's maybe European, but we were raised that way. However, for people with diabetes, we are saying now that they should have smaller meals. They could even have about 5 meals for the day instead of these 3 big meals, because now that their body is not able to metabolize, to use up all of that glucose at one time, the smaller meals every 3 hours or so allows the body to to manage the amount of glucose that's in there at any one time. So the smaller meals are good to go.
Yeah, so like my father, who has diabetes, he would have his breakfast, and then maybe a couple of hours later have an apple. Where if we ever went out somewhere, he'd always make sure he brought something because he didn't want to be out and not have anything to eat, and then his sugar levels
goes down.
just decrease on him. So I think it's important to have those small meals. And even if you're not diabetic, I think it's okay
It's a
to
good way
even
to
eat
adopt that.
Right.
Yes.
Because the 3 large meals, and then throughout the day you find that you may be hungry. So it's almost like just have the smaller meals, and your body will thank you later.
Very much.
We have another
Very
caller.
good. Well said, Pearl.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Yes,
Hello, good morning.
Good morning
Good
to you,
morning.
sir.
I want to commend you on a very good program.
Thank you.
But I have a question. I mean, while it is during the day, a diabetic would be active and stuff like that, and they maybe can eat more. What would you recommend, like before they go to bed, and what would be the best recommendations for them? Thank you.
Okay, great. That's a good question that you've asked.
Yeah, very good question. But then you have to take it in context of what the person had during the day. You have to also think of whether the person was active during the day. You have to look at the type of occupation. Is the person just at a desk, or is the person a farmer? You know, working
or
very
is the
hard.
person disabled and at home?
And at home, right. So you have to take all of those into consideration before deciding on how much and what to give. So the person, I know we've not completed our answer on the breakfast, but the person has eaten, let us say, the regular meals for the day, and then it's about 7 o'clock. We recommend that by 7, nobody should be eating any heavy meals. So the thing we want to do is to have, you could have a light cereal, a light soup. You could have some milk if you take milk, a low-fat milk if possible. You could have some milk with some crackers, about 6 crackers would be fine. And the diabetic in particular has to think of, it's the end of the day. My body's going to rest.
Yes.
You know, where am I going with a big plate of food at this time of the night? You know, and at that time your body starts to tone down and get ready to clean up and, you know, remove all the toxins and so on. But if you keep putting food in there, it's not going to do its work. And therefore, what works for one person doesn't work for all. But we are saying if by 7 you really want to have a little snack, you should have one of those that I just gave. Very light.
Very light. Okay, we have another caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In observing the counter of Jolly Mercy, get the multibiotics which are configured in all vegetable diets, and it penetrates about 70% of fat.
Thank you, caller. I think you are off tangent from what we're
We
discussing.
have another caller.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
And how are you all doing?
We are doing
Fine,
good.
thanks.
You okay, Mr. Jolly?
I'm not Mr. Jolly. Well, I'm doing fine.
Okay. Let me tell you, this morning I was just talking to my friend about that. My daughter is 7.
Yes.
She likes porridge. But again, she's a child going to school. If I will give her some Cerelac, she's fine. Nothing else. If I have furrin, she takes it in, nothing else. Or oats or something. So I would just like to know for her child of her age and her school, if that is healthy. I would just like somebody to tell me, please.
Like how many bowls, how many servings would she have per day?
Well, if she takes it in the morning, when I come home, she would say, Mommy, I want that for my dinner, please.
Oh, so
I
she'd
would
have it
give
like
her
twice a day? 2
before she
servings?
goes to bed.
Okay.
So how old is she?
She's 7, she'll be 8 in August.
So
and
what does
she have
have
at
for
lunchtime? Yes. What does she have at lunch, and what does she have for snack?
Well, when she goes to school, sometimes I give her water, or sometimes I give her a yogurt or a yolk. Sometimes a banana with her juice and water.
Okay, good. But what about her lunch?
Her lunch, sometimes she have a little rice. She likes macaroni. She likes her chicken. So I don't know. I just like somebody to guide me if I'm doing the right thing. Because I see she's a school child, you know, I don't know if she's been fed properly. So I'll just like some advice.
I know they have the school health program. The nurses come to weigh the children and so on. Do you know whether she's been weighed recently so you could know her weight? Do you know her weight? She's gone?
Okay.
Okay,
because
so
you
you'd
have
have
to
to
get a lot of
do,
information
yes, you'd have to get a lot of
quick.
information before. But it is the cereal, why she feels full is because it's high in fiber.
Yes.
So that can really sustain her maybe until 10:30 break time.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be good to know what else she's having for the rest of the day to ensure that it is nutritive and that she's getting enough to meet her requirements
and
for
we
the
also
day.
have to ensure that our children are being fed using all of the 6 food groups as well. There are creative ways that parents can introduce these foods to their children. You can have them try like raw carrots for snacks. You can have them have maybe some slices of mango, you know, cane, sugar cane. Yes. I mean, there's so many creative ways to do that. The goal is though to ensure that they get a little bit of everything. And so you can, for me, I'm not a nutritionist, but hearing that a particular child may be eating the same things over and over again, that can't be healthy. And in the long term, it may affect her cognitive development, it may affect other things. So I think the parent should definitely take that into consideration.
I wanted to ask you, many parents have had that the concern about eggs, and you know, many children like eggs. Do you give a child an egg every day? Do you? How much is too much? Do you see hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol in children that are at school? Because I remember asking that question to somebody and they said, well, it's okay because they're children, they're more active than an adult person. What are your views?
I think that a child growing up should not have more than 2 eggs in a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is okay. 2 eggs in a week is fine.
So if a child eats more, what's the repercussions?
I guess cholesterol for one would be, you know.
But the cholesterol is only found in the yolk.
Yeah, but they eat the egg. They eat the egg, and and you know, and some parents don't only give the children 1 egg as a serving. Some of them get 2. So that is where, and then you think of the method of cooking. If it is fried, they may put butter, they may put oil, a combination. You know, so it's you have to look at the whole picture. But eggs is very good protein food, reasonably cheap. You know, but you can maybe use the egg in, let's say, in potato, in salads and so on. Combine it as part of the meal, not just as a breakfast food. You know, so I think 2 eggs is fine. Some may say, well, that's what I have, that's what I give. But we always have to think of the consequences of everything that we do.
That's
well, you know, we've run out of time. And it's always the case when we're having such a great and wonderful and healthy discussion. Mrs. Teet, thank you for your expertise and thank you for sharing all of your knowledge here today.
You're welcome.
I mean,
I know.
You know, Mrs. Teet has just joined the Jolly's team, and we're very happy to have her on board as one of our consultants. And we know that she will definitely have a massive impact in terms of the plans that we have in disseminating information and demonstrating to people what, you know, the many intricacies and concerns that they have relating to food, and even understanding food groups and all, and servings and all of these things. So we have some good plans ahead, and we in this business really to promote health and wellness.
That's right.
And so we definitely know that you deserve more from a drugstore, and that is why Jolly's Pharmacy is really paving the way to ensure that you become a better population. I'm your host, Carlton.
And I'm Pearl Fontaine Butler.
See you next week, Wednesday. Bye-bye. Take care.
You were listening to Health Vibes, a production of Jolly's Pharmacy Limited.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheek? Darling,